The Natural History Museum's dinosaur collection is world famous. Thousands of visitors pour through its doors each day to see the most incredible dinosaurs ever discovered, from the first T-Rex ever found to the most complete Stegosaurus skeleton in existence. But behind the scenes, there's a treasure trove of dino secrets yet to be revealed. Susie Maidment is part of the museum's team of dinosaur experts, and today she's unlocking a storeroom that's strictly off-limits to the public.
What you see upstairs is just a tiny fragment of all the fossils that we have here. Most of them are down here in this room, where there are literally thousands of dinosaur specimens.
Here, in the bowels of the building, she knows something special has been hidden away. A crate from a famous dino dig in Lesotho, Africa.
It's really heavy.
That has never been unpacked.
OK, so you can see that we took this first plank off the box, and it's just full of these parcels that are wrapped up with these kind of tantalising notes on the outside, and we get to unwrap them and discover what's inside. It's like paleontology Christmas. What else do I have in my Christmas stocking? Ooh. It's difficult to know whether some of these have broken up as they've been in these boxes for so long, or whether they were broken when they found them. So this is one I'm really, really interested in. To most people, this might just look like a lump of rock, but to me, this is rather exciting.
Susie's expert eye has spotted that this small piece of rock contains prehistoric dinosaur bones. But finding out what type of dino they belong to is going to be a challenge.
This bone is really, really old, maybe as much as 199 million years old. And there's more bone inside this rock. We can't see the shape of that bone right now, but that's what we want to reveal.
Lesotho in Africa, where these rocks were found, is famous for early and rare dinosaurs, like Heterodontosaurus and Lesothosaurus. Susie's wondering if her rock contains bones from these creatures. To solve the mystery, she's using the museum's cutting-edge CT scanner.
I really hope that what we're going to see when we look at these images on the screen is a beautiful dinosaur skull in 3 dimensions preserved in these blocks of rock, and that would really make my day.
Susie must wait until the rock's been scanned and analysed to find out if it contains something special. The Natural History Museum is one of the most popular landmarks in London, and keeping this 130-year-old building sparkling for its millions of visitors is no easy job.
Who needs the gym, eh?
Specialist window cleaners, Killian and Paul, have the unenviable task of washing the 5,000 individual panes of glass that cover its facade.
We've been cleaning the windows here for about 6 years.
Probably the most important thing to wear when you're abseiling, at least for comfort, is a seat. So you get to sit down when you're working. It's pretty much like working in an office, really, just really high up. All right.
To get to the windows, the abseilers face a 100-foot drop.
Sometimes I do get a bit of a pit in my stomach before going over the edge, looking down and seeing how high it is. Wish me luck.
Attaching yourself to a historic building can be a bit unnerving.
If we're anchoring off of something that we're only 99% sure will hold, then I go first, because I'm fatter. And that way, if it holds me, then it'll definitely hold him.
Every couple of months, I clean the windows at home.
I'm actually quite bad at that. I clean windows when my missus orders me to clean windows. Oh, I just put my hand in spider webs or something. Yep.
At this height, Killian and Paul can get up close to the building's history.
I guess the nice thing about being a Natural History Museum is that it's a really old building
many, many years ago. These handles here were used by window cleaners to walk along the edges and clean the windows, back before health and safety existed. This building has really amazing carvings. Some of them funny looking. It's nice, we are the only people who get to see them this close.
Do you want to hear a joke? You missed a spot.
Coming up, the museum's oldest exhibit.
So there are tiny grains held within this meteorite that are older than the moon, and they're older than the Earth, and they're actually older than the sun.
And the results are back from Susie's dino scan.
Oh, look at that. This is great news.
At the Natural History Museum, there's far more going on than the public get to see. It's also home to over 300 experts who study the natural world in labs across its sites. But much of their work takes place out in the field. Today, beetle expert Max Barkley is taking a trip to Hever Castle in Kent, which is home to an amazing selection of bugs.
We're in the grounds of Hever Castle, where natural history is going to meet real history. Of course, Hever Castle is the childhood home of Anne Boleyn, the mother of Elizabeth I. But we're here to look at beetles. And there's a nice old orchard there with some apple trees that look like they're a couple of 100 years old, likely to support some interesting beetles.
Max is taking part in a groundbreaking project which involves collecting every species of beetle in Britain. Today, he's hoping to find something new, but it's no easy task.
What would really excite me today? It'd be nice to see something I haven't seen before. And there's 4,000 species of beetle in Britain. I haven't seen all of them. That is a beating tray. Very simple, it's basically like an umbrella. And you hold it underneath the branch, and then you hit the branch with a stick. So, not very technical, really. Have a look along the sides of the tree here. Have a look particularly at the mistletoe, which is interesting. But this tree is encrusted with lichen. I mean, it's a very old tree, even though it's very small. There's a couple of things on the beating tray there. There's a beetle. Ladybirds are beetles, of course.
Max has been studying beetles for 25 years. It's a lifelong passion that's taken him across the globe.
Well, this net has been all over the world. It's been all over South America. It's been in Brazil. It's been up the Andes in Peru. It's been in Central America in Belize. It's been in North America as well. There's some blood stains there. That's probably from leeches in Borneo. So you want to beat the tree assertively enough that the insects are dislodged without thrashing all the branches and fruit off, of course. Especially because it's somebody else's tree. Any beetles? The grounds here are old. They're as old as the castle, of course. So you have some continuity of the habitat, and probably the beetles here are the descendants of populations of beetles that were here when Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn were still living in the castle. This is a shield bug. It's also called a stink bug. When you handle them, if they get afraid or distressed, they'll produce a very strong almondy smell, which is why they're called stink bugs. I don't like the smell at all, so I'm not going to handle it. And there's a flea beetle there. Let's put that in the tube. Another caterpillar there that looks like a stick. And as you can see, it's doing quite a good job of it.
When you're collecting beetles in a historic orchard, snack time is a simple affair.
These fruits that look like cherries. It's not a cherry tree. Don't know what these fruits are. Well, look at that. Some kind of little plums. Bad habit tasting everything. You don't want to do it in the tropical rainforest, of course. Some of the things can kill you. They're actually really nice. I don't know why some people get creeped out by bugs, really. I think they just haven't spent enough time looking at them.
It's been a successful day, and Max will now return to the museum with his fresh haul of beetles. Every year, the Natural History Museum holds its famous competition of wildlife photography. With almost 50,000 entries, it's the biggest of its kind anywhere in the world, and the most prestigious. The exhibition that reveals the winning photographs is a highlight in the museum's calendar. Today, Programme Manager Soraya Salvador and her team are installing the top 100 photographs.
Be careful here.
But with opening day just a week away, time is tight.
This is a really exciting project, and it's the result of the work of so many people, and it's really beautiful to see. This is the moment of truth. Wow, exciting! So these are the photos that people are gonna be able to see in 1 week's time here in the gallery. These prints are really delicate. That's why you see us using these gloves. We go around. Wow, this one is really spectacular, the colors. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
An expert panel of judges selected these winning shots, and they are now being carefully mounted.
No. For us, quality is everything. Every time we put an image, we need to assess if it's best, and this one, it's clearly not. Here and here. One, two, three. I thought it was bumpy.
Each print is a challenge.
Not perfect, so we are not entirely happy. Maybe it's catching some moisture. We're feeling a bit the pressure because there's still a lot of work to do. We have to install the images today. Okay, let's go to the next one. 1, 2, 3. It's beautiful.
As it's the most popular event in the museum's calendar, the gift shop is also in a rush to get the new merchandise on the shelves in time for the grand opening.
Wildlife Photographer of the Year tote bag. It's a black bag. Who doesn't like a black bag?
I'm feeling great. I mean, it's the final last 5 minutes after 7 months of hard work. It's fantastic.
The Natural History Museum is full of unique objects that stretch thousands of years back in time. From prehistoric men to ancient insects and dinosaur fossils. But for Caroline Smith, who is a world authority on meteorites, there's one object that beats everything else in the museum, hands down. Kept tucked away, she's one of the few members of staff who's allowed to handle it.
So what I have in here, in this rather unassuming box, is actually one of our treasures of the meteorites collection and indeed of the museum. This is quite a smelly meteorite. I can smell it. It has a very distinctive smell. So some people have described it as smelling a little bit like gunpowder. So this is a meteorite called Murchison. It fell in Australia in 1969, and even though it looks like just a boring old lump of black rock, it's much more interesting than that. So there are tiny grains held within this meteorite that are older than the dinosaurs. They're actually older than the moon, and they're older than the Earth, and they're actually older than the sun. So there are some tiny grains held within this meteorite that are as old as 7 billion years old. So this is the oldest thing that we have in the museum. It's actually older than the solar system.
Remarkably, meteorites like this one could reveal how life on Earth first began.
We've always wondered how life started on Earth. You know, it's one of those really big questions. And what's so amazing about this meteorite is it's got all of the key building blocks that you need for life to start held within it. When you start taking them apart, you start revealing that they're really amazing secrets. They are like little time capsules and space probes.
Engine ignition, 2, 1, 0. Relay and liftoff.
As a world authority, Caroline has been recruited onto a very special project.
I've actually been working with colleagues from NASA for the last few years on the NASA Mars 2020 mission, the Perseverance rover.
She's given NASA a meteorite from the museum's collection that fell to Earth from Mars. And now that meteorite is on board the rover on its way back to the red planet.
Another piece of this rock that I'm holding is currently winging its way back to Mars on a 100 million mile journey, and it's got a very important job to do. So not all of our collection is currently in the building. Some of it is elsewhere and some of it is indeed in space.
This meteorite will help NASA's mission to discover whether there's life on other planets.
To be involved in that mission, even in a very small way, is super exciting. That is the hairs standing up on the back of the neck and the sort of butterflies going in the stomach.
Dinosaur expert Susie Maidment has been waiting for the results from the CT scan of a mysterious lump of prehistoric rock that was found in Africa. And today, the results have come through. She's hoping they'll reveal that the rock has rare dinosaur bones inside.
There we go. Oh, wow. We've got a lot of detail here, which is really nice.
From the first glance, it's promising.
This is great news. This is really good.
To Susie's expert eye, it looks like the rock contains an incredible discovery, an extremely unusual dinosaur skull.
Is this the brain case here, do you think? Look, here's the back of the skull, and then these are the two processes that are sticking down from the bottom of the brain case. So I think we've got the back of the skull here. I think this should make this identifiable. So hopefully from this, we'll be able to tell what sort of dinosaur it is.
To find out for certain what's hidden inside, Susie is now enlisting fossil expert Mark Graham. She wants him to chisel away at the hard rock and expose the fossil skull beneath, without damaging it. Only then will she be able to identify whether this really is a rare dinosaur.
I've got some specimens for you.
Fantastic.
So these are the little skull blocks from Lesotho that we've CT scanned. This is really spectacular.
Oh, good.
So as you can see, there is a lot of bone in it.
Yep.
But what the CT scan shows is that it really looks very promising as a skull.
This is brilliant, isn't it?
Looks
That's
quite
really good.
exciting, doesn't it?
It does, it looks fantastic, yeah.
And then I think with that much skull material, we should be able to identify it.
This is beautifully preserved,
Isn't it? The more I look at this and the more I look at the scans, the more I'm convinced it's a small dinosaur. I'm pretty excited. I think this is going to be very cool, and I can't wait to see what we get out of it.
Exposing the bone from the rock is painstaking work and will take weeks to complete. Susie will now have to wait before the mystery of the skull in the rock can finally be solved. Coming up, Max uncovers an ancient secret.
These beetles were alive when the pharaohs were building the pyramids in Egypt. It's tremendously exciting.
And Susie gets special access to a museum treasure.
They're virtually priceless, so it's pretty exciting to be able to get my hands on them.
Susie Maidment and her team are working to uncover a dinosaur skull from a prehistoric rock. And while she waits for the result, Susie's been given special access to the remarkable fossils that sparked the discovery of the dinosaurs.
I've never got to handle these specimens before. They're absolutely iconic specimens for dinosaur workers. You know, the first dinosaur fossils recognised as such. So it's pretty exciting to be able to get my hands on them.
These small pieces are dinosaur teeth, and they're extraordinary. They were discovered by accident in 1822 in Sussex by a local doctor, whose wife saw them glinting by the side of the road. This chance find kick-started one of the biggest discoveries in natural history, that dinosaurs once walked the Earth.
It's incredibly difficult to put a value on these specimens because of their incredible historic importance to paleontology. They're virtually priceless. We will never be able to find the first dinosaur fossils ever again. In 1822, nobody knew about dinosaurs. There had been dinosaur fossils found before then, but people had thought that they were the bones of giant humans and mythical animals and things like that. After this discovery, people were then able to look at fossils and look at bones with a new set of eyes. And that led to an explosion in dinosaur research and study and discovery.
The Natural History Museum has 28 galleries and 450 interactive exhibits to entertain adults and children alike. Looking after them is a task that falls to special effects engineer Chris Russell.
I've been here for quite a long time now, so I know most of the behind-the-scenes parts of the museum.
Each morning, Chris and his team have 60 minutes to get everything up and running.
So it's just really just going around, switching everything on, and then going around the front and checking that everything's working properly. And slowly the museum comes back to life every morning. This is the earthquake floor. I'm actually just waiting for the floor to start moving, which it is now, and just going to make sure that all of these barriers are secure. Yeah, that's all looking good.
But today, Chris has saved his most special task until last. He's installing one of the most extraordinary jewels in the whole museum. Known as the Ostro Stone, it's the largest blue topaz gemstone in the world. Found over 30 years ago, it weighs 2 kilograms and is over 9,000 carats.
We're in the Minerals Gallery, one of the oldest style galleries in the museum, and we're looking at the Ostro Stone. It's one of the largest specimens of its type in the world and was found in the Amazon rainforest. So we've just been putting the gemstone back onto public display and then adjusting the lighting on it to bring out the best aspects of the stone. So as the visitor looks at the stone, the lighting changes and you can just see different colours that come through and different patterns as the light refracts through the stone. Gemstones come in all different shapes, sizes and different colours. And this is one of the most amazing ones we've got in this gallery. Really, really beautiful.
Natural History Museum beetle expert Max Barkley looks after one of the biggest beetle collections in the world.
We have one of the largest, one of the oldest, and the most comprehensive collections of its kind anywhere in the world. We have here about 22,000 boxes of beetles containing about 8 million specimens. One of my favorite things is in this cabinet. So these are the gold and silver chafers from the cloud forests of Central America. These have been called bling beetles. We think they're trying to look like droplets of water so that they can hide from the birds and monkeys. This is the biggest beetle in the world, and this species called Titanus giganteus. These can get to about 16 or 17 centimeters long, so they're bigger than your hamster, they're bigger than your budgerigar.
Recently, Max found a remarkable pair of beetles hidden away in the collection. They could be some of the oldest complete beetles ever found.
Well, this is one of the most incredible things in the collection, to my mind. This is a piece of wood that was dug up in the 1970s on a farm in eastern England. And in one of these channels, the farmer who dug it up, he found some dead beetles, and they're here. And so he brought these into the Natural History Museum. And the scientists who were here at the time said, no, this is not a British species of beetle. So there was always a mystery about these beetles. What were they doing here? Why were they here? What were they doing in that bit of wood? And so it was put into a drawer in the museum, and it was left, really, for 30 or 40 years.
The beetles lay undisturbed in the museum's vaults until Max came across them several years ago. He suspected the reason they were so puzzling was because they were incredibly old and were now extinct in the British Isles.
Well, I decided that we were going to find out once and for all how old these specimens were. So we sent some tiny samples of these beetles and of this piece of wood off to be carbon dated.
The results have just come back, and they're remarkable.
Just got the results back from this. And that's quite interesting because we always suspected that they were old. But actually, these beetles are older than the Tudors, older than the Roman occupation of Britain, even older than the Roman Empire. These beetles were alive and chewing the inside of that piece of wood when the pharaohs were building the pyramids in Egypt. They're 3,875 years old. It's tremendously exciting.
Max believes these oak Capricorn beetles died out in Britain as the climate changed.
So this is a beetle that's associated with warmer climates. And possibly it existed in Britain 4,000 years ago because the climate was warmer. And as the climate cooled and the habitats were destroyed, it became extinct. It's quite extraordinary to realize that you're holding something in your hand that looks like it was collected yesterday and it's actually several millennia old. It's quite remarkable.
Max's ancient beetles will now go on display in a major exhibition. Being selected as one of the 100 winning photos to go on display at the Wildlife Photographer of the Year is a huge honour. Many of the chosen pictures were taken in remote locations. But British photographer Matt Moran took his picture just 10 minutes from his house in North London.
Here we are at the allotment where I've been coming for the past 4 years, photographing the foxes. And just a little bit further up ahead here was where I took the picture of the rat game.
For Matt, having one of his pictures chosen is a dream come true.
I've been entering the competition for the past 18 years, and I always thought the answer was just to go abroad and to exotic locations. And here we are in a North London allotment, and this time around I got lucky one night. There were a few just hanging out, so I'd get my camera out, and it was while I was lying on my front, a fox just exploded out from my right-hand side. It was a fleeting glimpse right in front of the lens. They were tossing the rat up in the air. It was entertaining to watch. It was these 3 foxes trying to gain ownership of the rat, and that's when I started to frame and just really fire away. Steam was coming out of my camera, and I knew that I've got to get this moment, I've got to get this shot. I reviewed the pictures quickly, and I could see this one shot on the back of my camera, and I zoomed in, saw it was sharp, and I was like, yes, I've got it. I've got something really good here. I think if you ask any photographer, including myself, the one competition they want to have their work in, it would be the Wildlife Photographer of the Year. It's like the equivalent of winning the World Cup.
Behind the scenes at the museum, you won't just find rare specimens. There's also a vast library and archives holding over 300,000 spectacular illustrations and artworks of the natural world, all cared for by Special Collections Manager Andrea Hart. But the crown jewel of this collection is a book on American birds. It contains over 400 hand-coloured prints, capturing wildlife as never seen before. A rare copy recently sold at auction for £7 million, making it one of the world's most expensive books.
Okay, so this is one of the heaviest volumes in the library, but it's also one of the biggest treasures that we have as well. This is John James Audubon's Birds of America, first printed in 1827, and it is just full of the most amazing birds that he captured in watercolour, and the most incredible thing is that they are all life-size. You can just see that these are almost painted yesterday instead of nearly 200 years ago. So today I'm having a look through the volumes to choose another plate that we can put on display for the public to come and see. So I think this one is going to be the next one to go into the gallery.
The images are so sensitive to light damage that each one can only be on show for a limited time.
So we're in the Treasures Gallery, one of my favourite galleries at the museum, and about to swap one treasure for another. So the tricky thing with these is that they are so big that you do have to take extra care when removing them. So it's always a relief when you get that out cleanly in one go. This is one of my favourite ones, I think particularly because owls are one of my mum's favourite birds. And hopefully we'll get it all in one go. There we go. Love this one because it really does look like the owls are really looking back at you. But anyway, I'm going to close them up, leave them in there until the next time. See you in a month.
In his lab, fossil expert Mark Graham has been chiselling away at the piece of rock given to him by dino expert Susie Maidment. A CT scan suggested there was part of a rare dinosaur skull hidden inside. But it will only be through Mark's painstaking work that the fossil will be revealed.
I'm getting rid of this crud, really. The trouble is the bones are lovely, but to get to them, you've got to remove all this is just sort of crap. It takes forever to do it because it's so hard, so just got to be patient, keep at it, and eventually we'll get through to the good stuff.
One wrong slip could destroy a 199-million-year-old fossil that can never be restored.
One of the things I worked on took about 9 years to do, so that's an example of how long it can take around here to make progress on some stuff. It is a very, very distinct and strange job, really. So I don't know, I'm probably a bit of a weirdo. Most people would probably tell you that, but I enjoy it, so I don't give a toss, really.
For Mark, working at the museum is the best job in the world.
If I'd seriously thought at 6 years old that I would have been working here, I would have been so excited. You know, I would have wanted to grow up really quickly. You kind of look back and pinch yourself and you think, how did I get here? And I still do that now. It's certainly a good party stopper. You go to a party and someone says, what do you do for a living? I'll say, well, I work with dinosaurs at the Natural History Museum. So they all think it's really pretty cool.
After weeks of careful scraping, Mark's hard work is finally paying off. A fossil skull is starting to emerge.
You know, some people who don't know would look at this and think it's just a lump of old rock with a couple of knobbly bits sticking out of it, but it actually represents something really important because there's a dinosaur skull in here. And not only that, but it's going to be a really, really rare dinosaur skull, so I'm super excited to get this job done.
Coming up,
Here it is.
the museum's major exhibition goes live.
It feels a little bit surreal, actually, looking at your work up here.
And the fossil skull is finally revealed.
This dinosaur is really, really quite rare. So this is a significant discovery.
It's just a few days before the Wildlife Photographer of the Year exhibition finally opens to the public. The winning entries for each category have been unveiled, including the competition's overall winner, this Siberian tiger captured in the Russian Far East by Sergei Gorshkov. British photographer Matt Moran's picture received a highly commended in the mammal behaviour category. Today, he's getting his first glimpse of his photograph in the exhibition.
Here it is. It feels a little bit surreal, actually, looking at your work up here, you know, amongst all of this amazing selection of images from all over the world. I took this photo over a year ago now, and it's just amazing to be able to stand in front of this moment that I remember so well. I'm definitely proud of myself because I've been entering this competition for 18 years. So to be able to finally have my own panel up here with an animal that's just 10 minutes walk from my house is absolutely magnificent. This is the Holy Grail for sure.
Every visitor walks beneath the museum's spectacular hand-painted ceiling, but very few people have ever been up close. Today, botanist Sandy Knapp is going to inspect this unexplored treasure for herself.
I love this building, and I actually love this ceiling, and I'm so lucky because every single day I get to walk through those doors, I get to walk across this hall, look up and see all these amazing plants arched above me. It's something that starts every day with a lift. Hi, Tom. This is so exciting.
Sandy is hoping to identify key features on the paintings that can't be seen from the ground.
I'm getting to go up in this cherry picker to get closer to this amazing ceiling than I've ever been before, which has been one of my dreams for many, many years.
Incredible.
The 60-foot-high ceiling is made up of 180 panels, intricately decorated with plants from across the world.
I mean, can you imagine putting all this decoration in a place where no one is ever going to see it? Those flowers are beautifully done in gilt, so it's hugely detailed, which you kind of don't see from down there, but I can see it for the first time here.
No one knows for certain why these particular plants were chosen. But now she's up close, Sandy has spotted that some of these panels appear to tell a story of the British Empire.
A few of the plants here on the ceiling are those plants that fueled the British economy in the Victorian times. So they were things like cotton and tobacco and tea, which were the real crops which brought in money. They also were involved with a lot of misery for the people who harvested them, enslaved people and whose lands were taken, but that was how the British Empire was made. It's like a hidden treasure in plain view, isn't it? You know, you only see it when you look up. It's a work of art. In a way, this is our version of the Sistine Chapel ceiling, but I kind of like it better. It is amazing.
It's been 6 weeks since Susie Maidment handed over a seemingly unremarkable lump of rock to fossil expert Mark Graham. Today, he's finally ready to share the results of his hard work with her.
Oh my goodness, you've done so much to it.
Yeah. Turned out really well. So the back of the skull's come out nicely. So I used the aeroabrasive just to remove that kind of rock that was over there.
That's beautiful. It's a beautiful job, though. Considering this is 200 million years old.
Yeah.
It is really well preserved, isn't it?
It is, it's lovely.
I'm really confident that we're going to be able to identify this. Brilliant, thank you very much, Mark. It's lovely.
Yeah, no problem.
See you later.
With her newly prepared dinosaur skull in hand, Susie is now ready to work out what it could be. The rock contained a small piece from the back of the skull. It's not much, but it's enough for Susie to identify it.
I'm really excited to look at this fossil now. Mark has done such a beautiful job on it. It is not a whole skull, but the vast majority of dinosaurs are known from just a few bones, and specimens like this have the potential to reveal all sorts of information that we didn't already know.
The skull was found in Lesotho in Africa, which narrows the field down. But to find out for certain what kind of dinosaur it is, Susie must examine key features in the fossil and compare it to similar skulls in the museum's collection. After hours of analysis, she thinks she can finally identify what kind of dinosaur the skull belonged to.
I'm quite excited by this specimen. I think I can be quite confident what it is, which is always nice. So the shape of the bones from our skull are really similar to those of this dinosaur here, which is called Lesothosaurus.
Lesothosaurus is an early and rare dinosaur.
I think that we can say with a lot of likelihood that this is Lesothosaurus. So this dinosaur is 200 million years old. Now, if you think about it, that is 140 million years older than T-Rex. So this was already a fossil by the time that T-Rex lived. And that's really, really exciting for me because it's the group of dinosaurs that I work on. And this is kind of where it all started for those dinosaurs. This is the back of the skull. So this is kind of this part here. And this is the eye socket. So that bit there. And then its snout probably would have been over here. Now, the whole animal was about the size of a Labrador, and it had a stiff tail held out to the back. It walked on 2 legs, and it had short forelimbs that it used to pull food to its mouth. It would have eaten ferns and mosses, and there were no flowering plants around at the time. This dinosaur is really, really quite rare. There are maybe only 20 specimens of Lesothosaurus anywhere in the world, and there's fewer skulls than that. So any skull material of this dinosaur is really, really important to us to help us to understand the anatomy of these animals.
Even with 10 million fossils, for experts at the Natural History Museum, there's always something new to learn.
People might think that we already know everything there is to know about dinosaurs, but actually the truth is we've only just scratched the surface. Every single fossil that we find tells us new information about dinosaurs, and this one here has the potential to really help us understand about the early evolution of some of the most exciting and interesting dinosaurs. So this is a significant discovery and a significant find.
The Natural History Museum holds the greatest natural history collection in the world. Thousands of visitors flood through its doors each day to see everything from dinosaurs to dodos, sea monsters to giant sloths. And the star attraction that draws the biggest crowds is Hope, a giant skeleton of the largest mammal on Earth, the blue whale.
The first time people come in and they see her diving down towards them, there's a lot of wow moments, and the children are great. They're like,
Every visitor to the museum will pass under this 4.5-ton, 25-metre-long skeleton. And checking she's safe to hang high over their heads is a crucial job that can only happen out of hours.
it won't be a good look, Rob, if you crash into it, OK? I'm just saying.
Today, a team of specialists are checking her over.
Big bit coming, look. Ooh, look at that.
Led by Head of Conservation, Lorraine Cornish.
So you can appreciate access to Hope is very challenging for us. She looks magnificent, but looking after her takes a little bit more time and thought.
When you're 130 years old, like Hope, your skeleton is fragile, so needs to be kept under constant watch.
We go through the whole length of the skeleton, a bit like a medical record where you check through, and then an inspection. Just less is more. I just need him to make sure less is more, all right? No more, Rob. Back off.
As soon as they get up close, the team spot that Hope needs attention.
Underneath the skull in the palate area, there's quite a few cracks. And on some of the vertebrae, they're quite large and heavy. They've got some cracks and joins. Are they opening up anymore? Are they stable?
They now have just 3 days to check over 200 bones to make sure she's secure. Even though Hope's been in the museum for over a century, very little is known about her life. But that might all be about to change. Behind the scenes, hundreds of world-class experts are uncovering secrets about the natural world. Richard Sabin has been the museum's whale specialist for the past 29 years. And he's embarking on a new investigation into Hope.
Now, this rather large crate, which reminds me of something from the movie Indiana Jones, actually contains a surprising part of Hope.
The crate contains parts from Hope's vast mouth.
This is the filter mechanism, the strainer that blue whales have inside their mouths to strain their food from the ocean, things like krill, small fish. We've got about 800 of these inside this crate, and this isn't something that people get to see. This is something that scientists get to play with, and I'm in a very privileged position. You know, we've had Hope in our collections for just under 130 years, and she's effectively been a mystery for most of that time. I've made it my personal mission to basically become a detective and find out as much information as possible about Hope's life, to add flesh, if you like, to the bones, to really develop that story.
Today, Richard's taking tiny samples from Hope's mouth plates, which will be analysed using cutting-edge techniques to reveal new information about her life.
Now, this is where it starts to look a little bit like I'm a drug dealer. This may just look like dust, but actually it's very important dust. And we've developed techniques now that allow us to extract very, very detailed information using chemical analysis from these individual plates. And this will be used to answer more questions about Hope's life.
Richard is hoping the samples will tell him exactly where Hope lived and how far she travelled. But first, they must be sent to a specialist lab before he gets his answers. The Dinosaur Gallery is one of the most popular and terrifying spaces in the museum, housing skeletons of T-Rex and Triceratops alongside life-size animatronic models. So if something goes wrong, it's a big problem. This morning, engineers Alex and Glenn have had an urgent call-out to one of the malfunctioning robotic dinosaurs.
So this one, we think, needs to have the back of his neck looked at. To you. There are a lot of children who are genuinely terrified of these things. Yeah, recently these models were taken down into our workshops and had the fur and the feathers added, rather more like the fluffy toys we sell in the gift shop.
Trolley coming in?
The motor in its neck has stopped working, and now the dino's head won't move properly. To avoid some very disappointed kids, it's crucial they get it up and running before the museum opens for the day.
We've got deadlines to stick to here. We've got the public in half an hour, so we've got to get this down into the workshop and have a closer look.
Dino delivery. We're going to find a place to put her and wake her up.
Can you make this part move, Glenn? Do the head turn, that one.
Alex and Glenn need to open her up.
Dino vet is one of the descriptions of my job.
Children come to the museum and expect to see them working. It's a big disappointment when they're not. It's one of the things that people complain about if the dinosaurs are not working.
Fortunately, with a spanner, a spare part and a bit of elbow grease...
Right, let's get it back upstairs.
The dino is up and running again.
Try and have it running before 10. He says he feels better. Well, that's a job well done. Children will be in half an hour. Back to terrifying the kids.
Coming up, Lorraine is up against it.
This is where the magic is going to happen. This is where the exhibition is going to be.
And the world's most prized dinosaur fossil.
I'm a little bit scared to touch it. It's just absolutely priceless. It's impossible to put a value on this specimen.
The Natural History Museum is gearing up for the biggest exhibition it's ever held. Fantastic Beasts, The Wonder of Nature, is inspired by the famous movie about the Wizarding World, and the museum needs it to be a huge hit. They'll be displaying fantastical creatures from the film, alongside some of the real-life animals that inspired them.
This is where the magic is going to happen. This is where the exhibition is going to be.
But time is tight for Head of Conservation Lorraine Cornish, who has just weeks before it's set to open to the public.
So now we're ready to start installing over 120 objects. It will take 6 people a month to do that. So everyone's getting all the specimens ready, and then this space will be so busy with people right up to the 11th hour normally. Literally the night before, we're usually still doing things.
Today, Lorraine is getting her first peek at some very special items from the film that have just arrived from Warner Brothers. With thousands of fans expected to visit the exhibition, it's vital that everything is in perfect condition and it doesn't disappoint.
These are super special, so I want to make sure that we're looking after them. This very large, odd-looking thing is the horn of an orumpant, which is one of the fantastic beasts in the film. And we're just checking it over to make sure everything's as it should be. There are some cracks here, but they're deliberate. They're not ones I should be worried about, so that's OK. It's not every day you handle your rumpant horn, though. Few people can say that. It's just great. It's such fun.
The orumpant is one of the fantasy creatures that escapes from Newt Scamander's suitcase and is a bit like a magical rhinoceros.
So this is Newt's suitcase, and who wouldn't be excited at carrying it? So Newt Scamander is the main character, and he's what's called a magizoologist. And he goes around the world and he looks for and studies fantastic beasts. Getting all this stuff out is like Christmas and birthday rolled into one. This is the wand for Newt Scamander. I so wish I had a magic wand. Sometimes I just want to say, exhibition ready, and it's done.
Having unpacked today's movie props, Lorraine now has just over 100 to go, including the exhibition showpiece, a brand new dinosaur. The Natural History Museum is home to over 80 million different items, but its rarest are kept under lock and key, hidden away at the back of the museum's main hall, in the Treasures Gallery. Today, one of the museum's dinosaur experts, Susie Maidment, has been granted special access to examine the most prized fossil in the entire museum.
This is Archaeopteryx. It's probably the most important fossil of a dinosaur that there is anywhere in the world. And I'm a little bit scared to touch it. It's just absolutely priceless. It's impossible to put a value on this specimen.
At 147 million years old, this bird-like dinosaur is so highly valued because it was the first fossil to reveal that every species of bird alive today evolved from dinosaurs. Susie's been at the museum for 2 years and is one of the very few experts allowed this close. She's making a record of the fossil for other specialists to study.
It is a bit stressful being this close to it. This case is almost never opened. It's very, very exciting for me to be able to have my head inside it right now and to be able to get a really close look at this fossil without the glass in the way.
Archaeopteryx was discovered in Germany in 1861 and has been at the museum for over 150 years. And it's the mix of its features that makes it so intriguing.
This specimen has a number of characteristics of both dinosaurs and birds. We have these beautiful feathers, which are so characteristic of birds. We've also got a wishbone, which is a bone in the shoulder region, which helps birds fly. And we've got a claw on the foot that allows birds to perch on branches. There are also a number of quite clearly dinosaurian-like features. You can see it's got a very, very long tail, and we don't have tails in modern birds that aren't just made of feathers. So these sorts of features make it much more similar to dinosaurs than to birds. I think Jurassic Park has a huge amount to answer for our opinions about what dinosaurs look like. We tend to think of dinosaurs as being these kind of big, scaly, reptilian-like animals, but actually what we now know is that many of the meat-eating dinosaurs were feathered. And I think this kind of changes our opinion about what dinosaurs might have been like. They were probably very bird-like in their behaviour, and actually many of them we wouldn't have been able to distinguish from birds today. And I think when you look at some types of bird, if you've ever looked an ostrich in the eye, I think they look a bit like dinosaurs, actually.
Everyone who works at the Natural History Museum has a favourite part of the collection, including housekeeping supervisor Debbie Marlowe. Hers are the ancient skulls and skeletons.
We are now entering human evolution. This is my lovely heads. I think they're gorgeous. I mean, look at their lovely faces. Nice chiselled eyebrows. Nice dinky little ears. Very handsome. I'm giving them a lovely massage now, because they deserve it. It's my little salon.
Debbie's favourite gallery displays skulls, skeletons and models of early humans, going back 7 million years.
Lynn, could do with a bit of a haircut. I could tidy that up. A bit of beard needs doing. I think any barber would love to have him. He looks quite cheeky, actually. He's quite a cheeky chappy, isn't he? He's like, hey, baby. It's quite... Oh, yeah. I'm all right, you know. What do you think? He's one of them. Hey, look at me. He's definitely not my type, though. He can smoulder as much as he wants. It's not working on me. Sorry, love. Should have jeans and T-shirt on. It'll be all right then. Look, do that. Censored. Should put big warning up before everyone comes in. Ready for everyone to come and have a good look at him now. In all his glory.
Over in the museum's main hall, the conservation team have been investigating the cracks in Hope, the museum's 130-year-old blue whale. Now, Head of Conservation Lorraine is giving the museum star exhibit a final inspection to ensure she's safe for the thousands of visitors who will walk underneath her.
So this will take me up and away, so that I can get up close and personal with Hope and have a look. Here we go, to infinity and beyond. I always worry that I'm going to go and hit her, but I know I won't. I don't mind heights, but this is quite wobbly. So the height's all right, but then when it starts to wibble-wobble, it can be tricky. I'm looking at cracks. So the mandibles are amazingly heavy, and if you can imagine, the structure is being supported. So we're really looking at structural stability. We're just watching some of the historic older cracks so that they're not opening up. We have to just make sure that we're happy with those cracks. They haven't opened any wider. That's why we take lots of pictures and just keep an eye on things.
Fortunately, Hope's cracks haven't opened up, and she can be passed as secure.
Here we go. Job done for now. Lovely. Lovely.
Behind closed doors, whale expert Richard Sabin is trying to uncover the mysteries of Hope the blue whale's life. He's keen to find out exactly where Hope may have lived and how far she travelled. It's been weeks since he sent Hope samples for investigation. He's received the results, and they're extraordinary. The analysis of the chemical makeup of Hope's mouthplates means he can now chart previously unknown details of where she migrated during the last few years of her life.
What we're actually looking at here is Hope's journey, 1886 into 1887. This is the route that she would have took from the north, between Iceland and Norway, south towards Cape Verde. Then we have her return journey. This is her going north again. We can see that every year, Hope was effectively doing a round trip from the feeding grounds in the north down to the warmer waters off the west coast of Africa. Looking at this distance on the map, you're talking about 6,000 miles in the space of a single year. That's remarkable for any animal, let alone an animal that's out in the ocean. The fact that I'm plotting a journey that was made by a blue whale over 140 years ago really does quite blow my mind, in all honesty. And to think that we could actually add information about her life in so much detail. It makes it very emotional. It's something that you don't normally encounter with museum specimens in natural history collections.
But around 2 years before Hope died, the trail runs cold.
In the penultimate year of her life, that's 1889 into 1890, the data become very, very unclear. She's still in these warmer waters off the west coast of Africa, and she stays there. And we don't really know why. This is where the real detective work comes in.
Richard needs more tests to find out why Hope suddenly stopped migrating. The museum's biggest exhibits might pull in the crowds, but less than 1% of its collection is on display to the public. The rest is kept for research in special access areas like the Cocoon, which is in the museum's West Wing. The Cocoon is crammed full of over 20 million specimens, including 2.5 million flies reserved for scientific research. Erica McAllister is one of the experts in charge of this collection, and flies are her life's obsession.
Everyone who starts off on flies is like, oh, I don't know how to pronounce that. My advice with a lot of scientific names is just go quickly. You can look at whales and they're great and they're fun, but I can go into my garden and I can see more mayhem and mischief there than I will by looking at a whale. Obviously, I have a bent for slightly unusual and entertaining behaviours. Oh, look here. See those little faces? Aren't they cute? You see their little face? Not their face, obviously. That's their anal spiracles. So you're looking at the backside of a maggot, which always makes me giggle. Can you not see the little dot on top of the end of the pin? That's obviously a fully formed adult fly. These are commonly called the no-see-ums. And there's a specific reason for that, because they are quite small. So, that obviously is a pig's foot, but in it, it's got loads of little holes where the fleas live. We get these in humans. So, those romantic walks on the beach, not so romantic when you've got a flea burrowing through your foot. And then this is a lovely example of the chicken flea, and they live in the lids of chickens. If you look on their eyelid, you can see little rows of tiny little fleas, which is quite amazing. It's got to be slightly itchy, I guess. So now I can use these to horrify you, which is great for education reasons. So, we have all these beautiful models.
Erica's collection also includes some 90-year-old wax models that are supersized versions of the real specimens.
I could show you my pubic lice in a minute. That is always a winner. Everyone has favourites, and the pubic lice are mine, because, you know, look at them. So here we have a head lice and a pubic lice, and I think it's pretty obvious which one is which. One lives on your head and your thorax. Okay, your hair is slightly different there to your hair in your nether region. Therefore, their claws are shaped differently to hold on to different types of hair. And you can see why they call it crabs as well, because it's definitely got a crab-like structure to it. It's brilliant. They're dying out. We don't really know why. It could be deforestation, but we don't know.
Coming up, the museum welcomes a new dinosaur to its collection.
I'm super excited to get this beautiful dinosaur. It's just going to be spectacular.
And a new discovery about hope.
I've just taken a look at the results and processed what's come back. I'm incredibly excited by this.
The Natural History Museum covers an area the size of 200 tennis courts and has 5 cafes, 3 shops, and 28 different galleries. Making sure this huge museum is ready for the public is a mammoth task, and it's all down to duty manager Jack Evans.
Eva, can I grab the sales radios? Have a good day. See you in a bit.
He has just 45 minutes to get everything ready before the museum opens for the day.
The museum's a very glamorous building, but I reassure you that there's not always glamorous sides to the job.
Jack manages a team of 65 front-of-house staff who run the 14-acre site.
It always gets to this time, and it gets a bit more exciting, because the visitors are on their way. At the top of the stairs, always knackered. I think by the end of the day, we're all kind of like this, like keeled over. It's such a physical job. My step count would probably be about 23 to 25,000 steps a day, and like 12 flights of stairs. So you've got to be quite athletic, which I'm not. Hello, control duty manager, over. Just checking in with housekeeping to see if the building's clean enough for us to open. I'm not getting a response. This is the duty manager calling any available housekeeping supervisor or manager, over. It's kind of a bit rude if they don't answer. Hi there, just to double check that the museum is squeaky clean and ready for our visitors, over. Hello, Control, are we ready to open the museum on time? Cool, thank you, out. We are indeed.
Time is ticking for the museum's major upcoming exhibition, Fantastic Beasts, the Wonder of Nature. Head of Conservation Lorraine Cornish and her team have to prepare over 100 items, including the replica skeleton of a recently discovered dinosaur, Dracorex hogwartsia. The original is in America, where it was discovered in 2004 and is named after Harry Potter's school.
I'm super excited to get this beautiful dinosaur. It's going to be the centrepiece of our exhibition with the most amazing name, Dracorex hogwartsia, Dragon King of the Hogwarts. It's just going to be spectacular. You've got Wizarding World and magic, and you've got a dinosaur. What else do you need to start your exhibition?
The complex skeleton has arrived in pieces without a manual and needs assembling. So Lorraine has called in dinosaur expert Susie Maidment.
As a dinosaur researcher, what part of the dinosaur are you interested in?
Most dinosaur experts like skulls, to be honest with you, because skulls can tell us a lot about feeding and things like that. And I don't know, they're a bit more personal, aren't they?
They are a bit more personal.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we do have...
Have we got the skull?
The replica skull here.
Can I have a
So
look?
do you want to... Yeah, I've got it on here with all the other bits here.
Yeah, okay.
So,
can I pick it up?
Yeah, yeah. It's in really good condition and it's
Oh,
really
it's
robust.
light,
Yeah,
okay.
and it's really light. But don't you think that looks just like a dragon?
It just looks exactly
Yeah.
like what you imagine a dragon looks like. It's so cool.
I know.
But Lorraine has discovered a problem with the replica skeleton.
What's happened here, though?
Well, I was hoping we could put it together today so that we could show you, but unfortunately, it's travelled across from the US, and so some of the pieces were damaged. The one thing a conservator fears is undoing that crate and something is broken. And in this case, we found pieces of the dinosaur lying at the bottom. And so there's a sort of intake of breath and like, OK, let's have a look and see how much damage we've got. And so we've got ribs completely broken off, whole pieces broken off entirely. I've got some more pieces over on the table. So we will be able to repair it, but will take 4 or 5 days, which we hadn't planned for. We've got to somehow find the time to now repair this beautiful dinosaur so that we can install it.
Richard Sabin has been looking after the museum's whales for 3 decades. But his love of the Natural History Museum stretches back to childhood.
I first remember walking into this hall and seeing this blue whale model as a 10-year-old. It was the first time I'd ever been to London, the first time I'd been to the Natural History Museum, and this was the thing that really blew me away. Standing in front of this model makes me remember how excited I was when I first saw this. One of the things that I really wanted to do when I was 10 years old on that first visit was take a look at the model, close up. And of course, now that I work for the museum, that's exactly what I can do. Nobody else, just me.
Richard's childhood visits would spark his lifelong love of whales.
As a 10-year-old, I was all about bones. I wanted to know about skeletons, and seeing the skeleton of the largest animal that's ever lived on the planet was just the most incredible thing. I had to know more. I had no idea that I'd end up working with Hope so closely and in so much detail. And she's really become the pinnacle of my career so far. Who knew? Who knew that was going to happen? That could never be predicted.
After months of research, Richard has made a breakthrough in his investigation into Hope. He's been able to trace where Hope travelled during her life, but then the trail goes cold. It appears that in the last years of her life, she suddenly stopped migrating. Richard has an idea of why this was, and he's just received an extraordinary set of results that confirm his suspicions.
I've just taken a look at the results and processed what's come back, and what we can see very clearly, very, very clearly, and I'm incredibly excited by this, is that we have evidence that Hope had been pregnant, full term.
These results show that Hope was pregnant during the last years of her life. With this new information, Richard can now pinpoint exactly when she gave birth.
The graph that I've got here is the data that's come back from the analysis, and smack in the middle of the graph is this huge spike in progesterone, the pregnancy hormone. So we have a birth date for Hope's calf of February 1890, based on these data. This is really quite remarkable. And the really wonderful thing for me is that if her calf lived its full lifespan, that means it would have been swimming around in our waters around about 1970 or so. If that calf, in turn, had had offspring, maybe, just maybe, Hope's grandchildren are swimming around still in the ocean today, following that same migration route.
Records show that a year later she became stranded and died on a sandbank as she journeyed past Wexford Harbour on the Irish coast. Richard still has an important question that needs answering.
So one of the mysteries, which is still pretty much an open question, is why Hope died, why she beached in Wexford Harbour. I really need to do a bit more thinking about what I still believe to be the last open question, which is, why did she beach? How did she manage to strand such a powerful animal? Maybe these data can give me a little bit of insight.
Coming up, the museum's new dinosaur refuses to take shape.
This is like a giant Meccano set that's full of very fragile pieces that you're trying to put together.
And Hope's last secret.
There's a mystery still to be addressed, and it's the final mystery.
The deadline is looming for the Natural History Museum's upcoming exhibition. With a broken replica dinosaur on her hands, Head of Conservation Lorraine Cornish is having to work round the clock to assemble its complex skeleton.
The clock is ticking and we have a schedule planned, and now this is an additional piece of work that we've got to do. So any bits of spare time that we thought we had, we don't have anymore, and we're doing this. This whole rib cage section here had actually broken along quite a few of those lines. So what I'm doing is just that bit of in-painting so that you cannot see where that break happened. This has taken up quite a lot of time, and I'm going to nickname it a little bit of a diva dinosaur, to be honest, in terms of the attention it's demanding from us. But, you know, it's worth it, absolutely worth it.
With the repairs complete, Lorraine can finally try to assemble the Dracorex skeleton.
This is like a giant Meccano set that's full of very fragile pieces that you're trying to put together. So you're literally building a dinosaur. It's getting longer. Yeah, it's nice and long now, isn't it? You feel like you're gradually bringing it to life as you put each piece on. It's just like an enormous jigsaw puzzle, but quite a challenging one. Jigsaw puzzles usually behave a little bit better than this dinosaur is.
Dino expert Susie Maidment is joining Lorraine for its crowning moment.
Hi, Lorraine.
Hi, Susie. How
This
are you?
looks good. This looks much better than last time I saw it.
So much better, isn't it? You've just caught me pinning the tail on the dinosaur, literally. This is the last bit of tail, so I've got you down here because there's one more piece to put on, Susie.
The skull. So can I do the honours, Lorraine?
You can, Susie. I've saved the best to last for you. It's all quite simple. Yeah. That's it. Then put him up a little bit more so he's looking... Yes, exactly.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Ooh, there he goes.
Right, we let him go?
Yeah.
Hey.
There he is.
There he is.
Look at that.
Oh, handsome.
Well, this specimen looks fantastic. I can't believe how different it looks from when I saw it. I think it's going to be the star of the show, as it should be as a dinosaur.
So you've got Harry Potter, Wizarding World, dinosaurs, dragons, the whole mix is there, isn't it? The public are going to absolutely love this specimen.
It's been a busy day for duty manager Jack Evans and his team, who are just getting ready to close up.
Attention all front of house radio holders, this is the duty manager. The museum is now closed to the public. Please can you start clearing the galleries wherever you are. Thank you. Out. Gearing up now for closing. I'm just going to sweep the galleries to make sure that there's no one hiding in the kind of strange hiding places in here. You never know what you might find. It's kind of nice, actually, to walk through when there's no one here. Even though it's a bit creepy in some areas, it's nice you can kind of have some, like, one-to-one time with a donkey. This is probably a good spot to edge people onto the doors. We obviously don't want to force people out the doors, but we've kind of got this gentle lean in and kind of graciously nudge.
Richard Sabin's 18-month investigation into Hope the whale's life story is coming to an end. He's plotted her route across the globe and discovered that in the last years of her life, she gave birth to a calf. But there's one question that still needs answering. What caused this giant blue whale to beach on a sandbank in Wexford Harbour on the Irish coast?
There's a mystery still to be addressed, and it's the final mystery. It's the mystery of why she died, how she died, what were the circumstances.
Richard has finally pieced together the story of Hope's last hours.
It's my feeling that it's probably down to two main factors. The first one being she would have been weakened by the pregnancy and by feeding that calf for all those months, investing all her energy in keeping her calf alive. There's another factor. We know from records that in the days before she appeared on the southeast coast of Ireland, there were terrible storms in the area. And I have a dreadful feeling that Hope may have been caught by those storms, that she may have been pulled into the incredibly tidal waters of Wexford Harbour, into the shallows, and didn't have the strength to break free, had no way to get herself out of that predicament.
Hope died on the morning of the 25th of March, 1891. And remarkably, Richard has uncovered a photograph in an Irish museum that matches the exact date and location of where Hope was found. It shows the blue whale in her final moments.
I've got a photograph here that shows Hope lying on a sandbank in shallow water on her right-hand side with 4 men standing on top of her body, and she's been released, we believe, from her misery by one of the men who made a harpoon, a homemade harpoon, and plunged it into her body to release her. It really does have quite an impact, and, you know, just, it does bring her to life, really, to have this information. Ultimately, when I stop and think about it, it's quite overpowering. It's quite overwhelming.
Richard has solved the 130-year-old mystery about Hope. And soon, everyone who comes to the museum can discover more about her story.
Even though this is an incredibly sad story, there is a silver lining to all this. People will get to know this story, and I really think it will surprise and inspire them. We've created an incredibly powerful message of hope, and Hope's story is an example of what the Natural History Museum is all about, using our collections to inspire people through science to look after, protect, and conserve the natural world.
Next time, a new dinosaur discovery.
It slightly blows your mind, doesn't it?
Gruesome secrets from our prehistoric ancestors.
So these teeth marks
must be from a human. This is definitely cannibalistic behaviour.
And the most famous dinosaur of all time.
Dippy mania has taken over.